Hi, Josh from Cool Club Sydney. Just here to talk to you a bit about the golf ball I'm currently playing, what I've kind of gone through to get to this ball. So some ball testing I did when I first went to this ball, some ball testing I've done recently, and ended up staying in this ball. So I'm currently playing the Titleist Pro V1, so the black number. Reasons towards playing this: initially when I went back to this golf ball at the start of 2019, I did some testing between the Pro V1 and Pro V1X. I found I was getting really similar results around the golf course, ball flight wise, maybe getting a little bit more height out of the ball flight on the Pro V1X, but really finding that both balls were quite consistent, getting a lot of really good results out of them. For me, it came back to getting closer to the greens. The Pro V1 had a lot more feel to the golf ball, so putting, chipping, pitching, wedge shots. So, and that for me is really important because that's where I'm going to make a lot of my score happen. For me, the golf ball further back off the tee, like off the tee, longer shots, it's kind of less important than that shorter area of the game for me. So this ball is where the most consistency comes out, kind of 140 and in, especially chipping. So chipping and pitching, this thing feels fantastic. It feels like it kind of sticks to the face. I have as much control as possible. For me, I'm not the most fantastic chipper of the ball. I'm a better pitcher than I am a chipper. And for me, that feeling of it kind of sticking to the face a little longer makes me feel like I've got some control over it. Whereas a ball that kind of, as soon as I've hit it, it kind of clicks and jumps off. I feel like I have absolutely no control and I don't know what I'm going to get out of the golf ball. So that's the ball I'm currently playing. I did a bit of ball testing at the start of this year as well to kind of see, do I stay in this ball? Do I try to see what else is working? If there's anything else good on the market, that's kind of going to help me out. I had a run with the TaylorMade TP5 and TP5X golf balls. Found that they were a little bit hot, if anything. So good golf ball. This is probably the TP5X, bit firm. So it does pop a little bit. It is low spin, which is what I prefer the feel of. Has a little bit more launch, which is quite nice. But for me, this went probably 10 further than the Pro V1 off the tee, and kind of with the longer clubs, maybe a few meters over the shorter clubs. But the big one was I didn't find I could get the trajectory inside 150 meters. Like I feel like I'd pinch one with this and it just wouldn't, I'd look up and not see the right ball flight, and then I couldn't really trust where that golf ball was going. Whereas the Pro V1, time and time again, whether you hit a good or a bad one, would have that good result. Whereas with these, I just found like maybe not the level of consistency I could find on the shorter end of the bag. Great ball for distance. They're really strong. I found any of the longer clubs, I could get a lot out of them, especially when I wanted to try and chase one and it just come out hot. So, I mean, really good if you're trying to hit long drives. But for me, I just found personally that once I started getting into the shorter area of the bag, I just wasn't finding the ball flight control, and even into the TP5 just didn't quite have the same control as the Pro V1. I previously used, this is the older version of the Calloway Chrome Soft. It's just out of my practice bag. I was using these in the last year of my traineeship, and this is probably the second best ball I've used. This is the 2017-2018 version. Unfortunately, it didn't really have very good ratings in the My Golf Spy ball testing, but I found for me it was really good. Once again, comes down to shorter end of the bag. Softer golf ball for me felt like it sticks to the face a little longer. I've got more control on those shorter clubs. I may have didn't feel like I was giving up anything with this off the tee. Maybe a little bit of what they talked about with consistency off the tee, but really good golf ball. One thing I wasn't so happy about was when I went to do some testing with the new Chrome Soft X, the triple track golf ball, that have worked on the ball with all of everything that happened with My Golf Spy and them doing the ball testing and coming out that soft is slow, and kind of saying that the Callaway ball wasn't as consistent as they would want to see to give that ball a good rating. So they've obviously worked a bit on the golf ball, made it a bit firmer, done some work to it. For me, I didn't really enjoy it at all, unfortunately. It was one of those things. I got out into the course to try and have a bit of a go with it. I did some chipping. First thing I noticed, jumped straight off the face, and I I kind of went, oh, it's not exactly what I want. So did a bit of chipping with it and got a bit of a feel for it. But for me, I found it was kind of clicking and jumping, and that's the first place that I kind of lose trust. Did some putting with it, felt pretty decent with the putter. The triple track alignment's a really cool idea because I do mark a big line on my golf ball. I need lines putting to get me thinking about less over the golf ball. But then you go into, once I got on the golf course, I stood on the first tee, I hit driver, I looked up and it was well above the window I wanted to see, so really popped up into the sky. Went a good distance, did a lot of what you would want it to do distance-wise and spin-wise, but really went outside the window I was looking at to go. So went up, hit a 4-iron, tried to hit a flat cut around the corner, really popped up again, and did that to me a few times, and then obviously same again, got to hitting a chip, and I kind of hit what I felt was a good chip. I kind of popped almost pin high, had decent spin on it, but then has gone too far because I didn't have the control over it. And then next time I picked up driver, did exactly the same thing, straight back into the wind. I was trying to hit something a little flatter out there, and it popped straight up into the sky, and I just kind of lost a bit of trust in it straight away. So that's a bit of the ball testing I did. The reason I play the Pro V1 is because it's the most consistent, and that's what I find is the best for my golf game, that I can get the most out of that golf ball, versus some of these other golf balls you lose a little bit of consistency with. Like I haven't tested the Bridgestone or the Strixon. I want to do some testing with them because I've heard they're both really good golf balls, but for me, Pro V1, putting, chipping, pitching, anything inside 150, most consistent golf ball. So for me, that's why it wins out. Thanks.